go one round of applause now for Andrew Frank.
Thank you so much. Please, one more time for Liz and for Chris, please. For yourselves. This is really special. There's like 32 human brains in this room. 32 sentient beings gathered to mutually experience the mind-altering substance of humor. That's amazing. The human brain is a very special thing. It's very necessary for humor. Jokes are processed in the ventromedial prefrontal cortex. I'm going to tell several jokes. They're all funny. But if you don't feel like they are, maybe use the front of your brain. It's a requirement. The human brain is the most complex 3 pounds of matter in the known universe. It creates a phenomenon which we refer to as consciousness. We have the capacity for speech. We have the awareness of the grand system of life surrounding us. It's pretty cool. We're very different from the other animals. Like, I don't know if you guys know this. Human beings are the only animals that take other animals and make nuggets out of them. Did you know that? That's a specifically human activity. Like, I totally understand animals eating animals. That makes a lot of sense to me. But to grind them up and make them into shapes? That's so intense. Dipping them in ranch dressing? That's psychopathic behavior. We're the lunatic overlords of the animal kingdom. They are. Can you imagine if other animals did the stuff we do? How crazy that would look? Like, picture this. Picture like 150,000 cheetahs invading Iraq. Like, what if they did that? We'd be like, no! That is not okay! But since it was humans, we're like, that's freedom. Totally cool when we do it. Can you imagine if buffaloes burned fossil fuels? How mad we would be? We'd be like, what are you doing, buffaloes? They're like, we want to go fast. Can you imagine if polar bears successfully operated a transatlantic slave trade? Then carried out the genocide of the indigenous people of an entire continent? Then erected an information distribution system that encourages perpetual war, the infinite consumption of finite resources, and the full submission to your most selfish desires through the constant assertion that they're the manifestation of freedom and the ultimate expression of identity, when in reality they prevent us from discovering the self and exploring the true nature of consciousness. Like, what if polar bears did that? Whoa, polar bears, please! Too much! Please, that's what we do. Yeah, human beings are pretty remarkable with our creativity, with our technological progress. Think about the fact that we all have smartphones in our pocket. Think about what that is. We've taken all the data, all the knowledge of an entire species, we've condensed reality into a rectangle. And we've all dropped it down the toilet. You dropping your phone down the toilet is like the modern equivalent of the libraries of Alexandria burning to the ground. It's like, oh, it's all the knowledge! Everything we've been working for! It's gone! And our technology has quite an influence on who we become and what the planet looks like. We're burning fossil fuels, heating up the planet, melting polar ice caps. It's pretty amazing, you know. It is. At the Paris Climate Agreement, they officially announced we're going to phase out the use of fossil fuels by the end of the century. End of the century. They basically came out and were like, hey, everybody, we're going to use all of it. Yep. That's the plan that we wrote down. We're just going to use every last drop. Once we're out, then we're done. We promise. Once every last dollar is made, then we promise we'll think of something else. And these, human-induced climate events are going to keep increasing in intensity and frequency. We had a series of hurricanes last year, Category 5 hurricanes. A Category 5 hurricane has 180-mile-per-hour winds. That's so intense. I think what's happening is the ocean is trying to spit back all the plastic we put in it. It's trying to murder us with our garbage. Like, seriously, you know how many people are going to die with plastic bags over their faces? Like, oh no! I should have used reusable bags! I didn't know it would affect me so specifically. Millions are going to die by like a Keurig Cup firing squad. Just like, oh, they weren't biodegradable. They're the ocean's bullets. And I wonder if any animal is going to be all right after climate change really takes its toll on the planet. I was in Florida, I was looking at this alligator, I was like, maybe alligators will be okay. You know, it's gonna be hot, sea levels are rising, they might be into that. But I looked into it, the sex of the baby alligator is dependent on the temperature of the nest. If the nest is 90 degrees or over, every baby alligator is born male. Shit! That's the last thing we need during environmental collapse, is reptile toxic masculinity. We don't need a bunch of horny, vicious alligators fucking on the verge of extinction. It'd be too reminiscent of us. Okay, here's how I know the planet is in terrible shape. Aliens come here all the time. They never land and they never talk to us. They see the planet and turn right the fuck around. They're like, we'll probe an asshole or two. We're not living there. Not a good place to live. You know, they'll travel millions of light years to play with our butts. But they're not going to build civilization here. Just shows you how special the human butthole is in the context of the universe. I come all the way here just for that. You know. When aliens describe this place to their friends, they must think it's so amazing. Like, oh, you gotta go to this place. It's this rock in the middle of nowhere. You go there, there's these creatures, they walk on two legs. They have holes in the back of them. You just put stuff in them. Then you fly away and no one believes them. It's the best spring break ever. Douchebags, alien, cosmic douchebags. I do like thinking about the cosmic perspective. I like thinking about the origin of the universe. But I don't know if we'll ever arrive at like an answer to the universe. If there is one, I don't think the universe wants us to figure it out. Which is why I think the universe is intentionally crushing Stephen Hawking. Yeah, I think the universe knows that's the one guy who can figure everything out. And the universe panicked and was like, just put more gravity on him or something, just anything to get him to stop. He was getting close with the bat, so we just really gotta make sure. I'm rooting for him, I hope he wins. But, the universe is doing its best to stop him. I think we're lucky we don't have like an objective answer to the universe. Because what if there is one and it's horrible? Like what if all of this were created by like a massive corporation? You know, some greedy asshole CEO's like, yep, I got the best business plan ever. We'll take an infinitely dense point of matter, we'll have this colossal explosion, these giant clouds of primordial elements will coagulate into rocks that orbit stars, these life forms will evolve into primates without self-control, and they'll buy everything. Just walk around buying stuff. We're gonna make so much money! Like, you know, the Fibonacci sequence? The spiral pattern we see reoccurring in all of nature? The Milky Way galaxy? Seashells? What if that's the logo of the corporation? Advertising. They put it on everything! Advertising. Yeah, we don't know where the origin of the universe. It's quite a mystery, you know. Some people think that God created the universe. The book of Genesis says that he created the universe in 6 days and he rested on the 7th. But it never says that he woke up. I think that explains some shit. I think eventually God's gonna wake up and be like, oh no, I overslept. things are real bad down there. Oh no. Yeah, that was always the solution I was given. Is I was raised very Christian. My father's a pastor. He and I are different. I think the main difference is that I write my own shit. That's the main difference. Yeah, he plagiarizes off of God. He's a hack. It is funny to be performing for a crowd who's sitting in pews, though. That's something like, hey, I know what it feels like. Yeah, he never has hecklers either. I think my dad should have to deal with hecklers sometimes. I mean, people yell at me all the time. It'd be nice if one Sunday someone stood up and was like, bullshit! It never happens. No one ever does it. They just sit there quietly like, this sounds like bullshit. Yeah, I was always told that Jesus Christ was perfect. And I don't think that that's true. I think Jesus just seemed perfect compared to the other people who were alive back then. Everyone sucked back then. Think about who was alive. They were like, hey, we should throw rocks at this woman's head till she's dead. And then Jesus was like, maybe we shouldn't. And then everyone's like, whoa, this guy must be God. That's so enlightened. Yeah, Jesus was he was a religious radical, right? Judaism was the prevailing ideology at the time. He came along, he challenged it, gave a new way of thinking. I like people like that. Like Martin Luther's one of my favorite people in history. He was pretty cool. He had some problems with the Catholic Church. He wrote them down and nailed them to the door. That's so badass. Not only did he start the Protestant Reformation, but he basically invented Yelp. Can you imagine if you wrote a Yelp review? I was at the Catholic Church the other day and I was so disappointed. They turned a philosophy of love and acceptance into an ideology of fear and exclusion used for domination and financial profit. 1 star. Yeah, I went to a little Christian school. Did anyone else go to a small Christian school here? Anybody? It's weird. It's real weird. I'm from Missouri. My school wasn't accredited. Yeah, that's pretty bad. If the state of Missouri looks at your school and is like, oh, that's not a school. You didn't trick us. Yeah, it was a crazy school. We weren't allowed to play Pokemon in our school. It was banned. They would always confiscate our cards from us at recess. And the real reason they gave us for why we couldn't play Pokemon is because Pokemon evolve. That's what they told us. That means the school board got together and was like, God did not make a Charmander to turn into a Charizard. It's not natural. Hey, we had a crazy school, we didn't even have a sex ed class at our school. They didn't teach us about sex. They just told us in the Bible it says to wait to have sex until you're married, and it also says don't masturbate. That's a horrible combination. Can you imagine if everyone followed that, just the chaos that would happen? You'd go to every bar and every guy would go up to every girl and be like, do you want to get married? I need to get married, right now. Okay, the only verse in the entire Bible about masturbation, it's in the Old Testament, I'll quote it word for word. It says, do not spill thy seed upon the ground. Who's jerking off onto the ground? It's a very specific rule. Is that a problem? Why did God have to tell us not to do that? Did God come down to earth my children, I have some rules for you? What's on the floor? What have you guys been doing down here? It's everywhere. What is this? All right, put it in the book. These people need a rule. Apparently, you guys are out of control. Noah, get in the ark. I got to send the flood down to wash all this stuff. Please. We actually took a field trip to see the Noah's Ark replica in Petersburg, Kentucky. Do you guys know about this? This dude, Ken Ham, he's from New Zealand. He moved to the United States to build an ark. He believes the world is 6,000 years old. It was our whole curriculum at our school. Yeah, it's crazy. And the ark cost $148 million to build. $18 million Kentucky tax money, which is insane. But what's hilarious is the polar ice caps are melting, the sea levels are rising, and he's going to get to use that boat. Ken Ham's going to be the new Noah. He's going to be on top of a mountain, reading the Bible to his congregation, hey, wait a minute. It says here in the book of Genesis that God promised he'd never flood the world ever again. Yeah. That means that something in our book is wrong. Yeah. And then someone's like, hey, maybe that just means a literal interpretation of the scriptures is counterintuitive to religion, because religion is man's attempt to solve the deeper mysteries of existence through the artistic expression of storytelling. And someone's like, you know what? Who the fuck let this guy in our boat? And then they murder him. Tradition. Whoever makes the most sense, we murder that person.